Darren, we have somebody joining us today, which is one of my favorites. I not only get you, but I get another lovely, amazing person. Darren, who is joining us today?
Well, thanks for just including me in the mix. So I already feel included and very special. Yes, this is an extra special episode. We have a whole half hour with Lauren Rose Thayer. She is a independent country artist from Nashville, Tennessee, although she grew up in southwestern Pennsylvania. Sorry, I've got a huge echo on my ears, and it's hard to read and to speak at the same time. But anyway, I stumbled
Technically, you
across,
could
yeah,
take your headphones off just for a second while you're
yes.
reading it. It'll
That is
probably
an
help you.
excellent
I
point.
believe
Thank
in
you
you.
for the pro tip there. But
Yes,
anyway,
sir.
listen, I found Lauren Rose Thayer through the miracle that is social media, and can't wait to speak to her.
Yep.
I know social media oftentimes gets a bad rap, but the beautiful part of it is it brings people together. And I found her live on TikTok. She's amazing, and we're going to talk about her. We want you to go to her social media handles. It's Lauren Rose Thayer.
Uh,
Lauren, Lauren Rose Thayer, and she has new music out. We're going to talk to her about life in Tennessee, life as a professional musician. We're going to talk about her new album called Going Somewhere, featuring a song, Lighthouse, which is a part of her new album. So, Lauren, welcome to our show. How are you doing today?
Can we give it like an applause? Here we go.
Yes,
There we go. There we go. Okay, welcome. Welcome, Lauren.
he's playing applause.
Thank you
So,
guys.
how are you, Lauren?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. So, Lauren, you're a working musician in Nashville, and I see nightly and sometimes even twice a day on social media that you're playing on the world famous Broadway street. I am curious, just as a business person and an amateur musician, I mean, how competitive is it to get the gigs, to get noticed, build a fan base, stand out? Tell us about life in Nashville.
Yeah, so how competitive is it? I think it can get tricky once like trying to get your foot in the door, but once you're in, it's a really sweet community of musicians and patrons and staff at the bars I work at. So everybody kind of knows everybody. So if you have a good experience at one place, word gets around. Just like if you have a bad experience, word also will get around.
Hmm.
I'm very grateful that I had more good than bad. Everybody kind of has a different start with playing down on Broadway. I did things a little backwards. I consider myself a songwriter first before an entertainer.
That's awesome.
So when I started playing music in 2020 and 21, I actually played a lot of the writers rounds, which is kind of similar to like what you see on my live streams on Broadway, but it's more original music than covers. Um, a lot of my peers, are great songwriters, but they don't play an instrument. Like they just
No.
sing. So lots of times I would be playing guitar for somebody else in a
Oh,
round.
fun.
And a mutual friend of mine started playing on Broadway, and he needed a guitar player. His guitar player that he used regularly was sick one day. He's like, "Hey, Lauren, you want to come play this bar with me in Nashville? Let's have some fun, make some money." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Here we go." And the rest is history. And now I'm playing Broadway full time. I'm making it like a 40-hour work week. So
Cool.
sometimes playing once a day, twice a day, just depends on what's going on.
That's a lot of shows. And as a musician who, in one phase of my career, played a lot of shows, it takes a lot. I don't know if people appreciate it's a lot of work and it's a lot on just the body, just even
The
holding the
physicality,
guitar, the
the physicality
physicality.
of it is
So
tough.
it
Yeah.
is tough. So good for you out there, like actually hitting the pavement and getting it done. Well done. It's not easy.
Do you
I
not
have a
worry?
good I have a good chiropractor, and I have a really good massage
Yeah, you
therapist.
have to. People like that's not a joke, people. Anyone that's listening, I also have an amazing massage therapist, and I work really hard at making sure my body doesn't hurt when I'm in those long phases. So good for you.
Yeah.
I need a
Thank you.
massage therapist. Well,
I'll let
do
you
you
know.
not worry if you're singing 7 days a week? Do you not worry about the vocal strain and vocal cords? Uh,
Oh yeah, I worry about it for sure. I definitely know how to pace myself.
Hmm.
Um, I think what's really helped me is I used to be. I mean, still am. I'm classically trained. And for my college and grad school education, we were trained to sing for like hours at a time without getting fatigued. And I think a lot of people don't realize kind of what you were saying, Micah, about taking care of your body. Your voice is a muscle and it requires training.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got the proper training, if you know how to breathe, if you know like how to work your core when you're singing, it's going to help you in the long run. Because if you're just relying on just the muscles here, of course you're going to get tired. Of course you're going to lose your voice, and it can cause more health problems.
Yeah.
I'm very, very lucky that I had the training that I had, so I can sing 4 hours, 8 hours a day.
Well, you're lucky and you're committed. So the two can be not mutually exclusive. So hard work is what we call that.
So what I heard was all I have to do is go to the gym, get in shape, work on my core, and I can sing like Lauren Rose.
You got it,
Is that what I heard? That's what I just heard. That's the promise she just made for me right now.
I can't guarantee you'll be able to write like her, but look at you. I believe in you, Darren.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're with Lauren Rose Thayer. She is a country singer out of Nashville. I stumbled across her on social media. I'm glad I did. This is Darren and Micah here on 94.3 FM radio. I think I've mentioned the call sign enough now.
Yeah, we're good.
Good. The boss won't get up. So that, Lauren, you shared with us your story, your background, how you were teaching. You were all prepared for a career in education. COVID hit us like it did us all. Share with the good folks in Radio Land and all across the world your story about how COVID brought you back to music full time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I moved to Nashville with no inclination of being a country singer, which is very uncommon to hear. So when I moved to Nashville 8 years ago, I went to Belmont for my master's degree in classical voice performance. Was a full-time music teacher, taught privately and publicly. Right around March 2020, I got a call from my superintendent, and they told me that they were going through a budget cut and the music program wasn't going to be available for the following school year. So
get rid of other things. Keep music. Blah.
Right. Yeah. So of course I go into panic mode. They were very gracious and let me keep my job until the end of the school year. So I had some, time to figure out what my next plan was. And the following week, Nashville got hit with a tornado and wiped out most of East Nashville. And then the following week was spring break. So I decided, okay, I'm going to move back home to Pennsylvania. Well, I say move. I was going to go and visit. Just thinking it was going to be a regular spring break. And there were talks about COVID, but it really wasn't anything like, major as what was to come. And I ended up being quarantined with my family in Pennsylvania for like 10 weeks because we just didn't know like what was going on. Like we didn't know if it was safe for me to like go back to Nashville. And so it was really hard. One, I love my family. It was just hard to try to figure out like what my next step was because everybody was in a similar predicament. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost family. We unfortunately had to bury a lot of my grandparents' generation because of COVID. So it was just a really hard year. Yeah. And nobody was hiring music teachers. Nobody was hiring teachers, period. So a friend of mine was like, hey, you want to write a song? And I was like, I've never written a song before. So that was like my way of just kind of coping with what the heck was going on in the world around me. And I fell in love with it. I started writing more and more songs. And then I started doing live streams on my Facebook and on my Instagram just to keep myself sane and social. And next thing I know, I'm like, Mom, Dad, I think I need to move back to Nashville. And I think I need to try being a songwriter. And they were not happy with me. They were like, you have no job. You have no house. Like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't care if I got to work at Starbucks. Like, I'm going to move back to Nashville and I'm going to do this.
Hello.
That's so funny. let me just answer this really, really
We
quick.
can. All right, we're back. Lauren is back. The pest control people are gone. The irony, you were
They
getting
were pestering you.
pestered by your pest control people.
It really wasn't until like uh, June of last year that I finally took the plunge and started playing music full time. And now this is my full time job. So
Fun.
Well, you are a songwriter now and a full time performer. We're going to talk about your music and your writing process here in just a second. But before that, please indulge me because I'm a professional marketer. I do social media for a living. And I spend a stupid amount of time on social media, both for myself and for my clients. And I see musicians all the time. I think Lauren Rose is the best live streaming, and I'm about to tell you why here in a minute. But prior to that, I'm very curious. We've spoken to a lot of musicians, and they see the business marketing ending things as a hassle, as a to-do list. You seem to be more comfortable with it than a lot of other musicians. Is this something you enjoy, or do you consider it part of the job?
it's definitely something I had to learn for sure. Um, I think when I was an educator, they were very, very strict on what we could post and what we couldn't post.
Mm-hmm.
So, just because everything is on the internet
Yeah.
now. And so I just always played it safe and didn't post anything. And when I decided to take the leap and be an artist and a musician, I had to unlearn like, no, it's okay. You can post about your life. You can post about, things that make you happy, things that irk you. Like people want to see the real you. And so
Authenticity.
it took me, yeah. And so it took me a good year to like finally get comfortable with like being in front of a camera and realizing that like, the people that I meet, it's so weird calling them fans. Like the people that I meet, it's like they genuinely want to know like how I'm doing, and they want to know like how my music is going. And I get more support from complete strangers
Yeah.
on the internet
Yeah.
than I do from friends and colleagues
Sure.
sometimes. And
Yeah.
it's really, really cool. And then once I just kind of got past like the fear of like talking about my life and the fear of like just sharing that part of me, it ended up making it be so much more fun. Like I love going on live because I've just met so many awesome people. That's actually how I met Darren. He popped up on my live streams, and it's really cool. And it's like it's neat seeing that little community
Yeah.
that comes up on it. So,
So yeah, so let me tell you what makes her different because I spend a lot of time on social and I watch a lot of music because I'm passionate about it. So here's what Lauren has the ability to do, and I encourage you to find her on TikTok, Lauren Rose Thayer is what I'm talking about. So Micah, I would love to know if you, Lauren, my question is how you do this, okay? So she's playing, she's strumming her guitar, she's singing, she's live on TikTok, she knows 500 songs or more. And so she's singing, and then I hear her have conversations like, "Oh, you just got engaged? Let me see your ring. How you doing?" And then somebody will walk by and I'm like, "Oh, hey, Bobby, I'll talk to you later." And then in between all that, she's answering questions from the live TikTok people. I've even seen her singing long songs when she plays with another person on stage and she's singing. They go into the bridge, a solo comes, and she's answering questions.
Playing and talking at the same time.
Answering questions during the solo, and then she's right back on time when it's her time to sing again. My question is, she's like a helicopter operator with her hands and her feet going four things at one time. How are you, just because you grew up in the digital space, or are you just a genius?
I also want to know.
How do you divide your brain that quickly?
How do you divide your brain?
Practice. It's definitely practice.
It's impressive. Sure. It really is. From a social media professional, it's impressive what you do. Yeah.
Well, and that's something even like when I'm doing my live streams, it's like because my schedule is so busy, like the only time I'm ever to really go live is whenever I'm playing downtown. And so like not only am I building my audience in person, I have to build my audience virtually. And so I don't know. I just kind of realized that it's like, hey, I'm performing to two different audiences. And so I have to make sure I take care of the audience that's on my phone and then the audience that's like in front of me in person, and try to treat them both equally and fairly. It's also nice to have. I'm still like learning all the social media stuff, but they have you can have people be moderators
Yes.
on your live.
And her
Um,
moderator is a hard ass. I'm going to tell you, he is on you.
oh,
Yeah.
Jason, I love
I
him.
think you mean buttocks, Darren.
Joe, sorry.
Buttocks.
He's so funny. He's
Yeah.
so funny. But yeah, and it's also really cool when I do my live streams, like I try to plug, the musicians that I work with on there too.
That's what
And
I mean.
so
You
that
have
way
so much going on. It's really impressive. I will tell you what drew me to you beyond the talent and the music and the great voice is that I have a very childlike goal in my life is that I want to say something so idiotic to a singer while they're singing that I make them lose place in their song. And I've said some really moronic things to her, and she just rolls right on with it. So
Says
that's
it.
pretty it's pretty
You
impressive.
can't
that
you can't shake her, Darren.
I'm trying
you
to
can't
throw
shake her.
mind grenades over there through TikTok, and she just swats them away.
Oh, that's really
So,
funny.
yeah.
It is funny because whenever I'm playing, I don't know if you're the same, Lauren, though, that it is like that, like trying not to get knocked off the high horse if somebody is doing something. You just stay steady. You just
When
stay,
Micah
you
plays,
just stay in it.
I just yell out nonstop to tell him to play Freebird.
He's
Freebird, play Freebird.
you're the first person, Darren. You're the only person that says that joke. I don't know how that's even a joke. Like, why is that even? Lauren, do you know why it's a thing? I don't know why everyone has to. Can we stop yelling Freebird, everybody? Just please. I don't even know why it's a thing.
Hey, it's better than
Yeah,
But it
it's better
still
than
happens.
yelling Hawk Tua.
I'll
right?
tell
These
me
days,
how
yeah.
to do it. I don't know. It's unbelievable the survivability of that thing. It's still every single show. Someone gets
we're having
Freebird, and I'm
fun
like,
here.
gosh, you're that guy. All right.
I
It's
am that
always
guy,
it's
and
always a
I'm
guy.
gonna get a T-shirt that says "Play Freebird" and show up
It's
on
you're,
Micah's show.
it is always a guy as well. Anyway, I'm sorry. I have derailed this. Where are we?
Well, where
oh,
we want
you're
to.
good. You're good. I mean, one thing that does shut people up though is like when people shout out Freebird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like in Austin, but in Nashville, that's $100 song request.
So we have the same jokes because I always say $100, wagon wheel. I'm like, you got $50,
Yeah.
and then they're like, well, I've only got
Hey, that's a
20. I
great
was like,
song.
well, you'll get the verse.
I'll play
You-
Wagon Wheel for you for free.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. No, I ain't playing wagon wheel for free. I can tell
I'm
you that
easy.
much. I love that song, but you're still paying me $50. Anyways,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah, it's $100 song to play Freebird.
$100, yeah.
I'd say we upcharge it. We go more these days. I say we move it to 200. Let's see who
Inflation,
keeps talking.
right?
Yeah.
Prices are getting high. Our requests are getting high.
I did.
Oh, I love it.
So there's a famous guitar player here in Austin named Monty Montgomery. Guitar One magazine names him one of the top 10 live guitarists on the planet. I saw somebody pay him $100 to play "Jesse's Girl" by Rick Springfield one night.
There you go.
He goes, "All right, I'll do it." So, well, let's shift gears. Let's talk about your music. So you mentioned that. You're a performer, but you certainly view yourself as a songwriter, and that's awesome. Talk to us about your creative process. Everybody's got a slightly different. What is your process for creating and writing songs?
Yeah. So when I'm writing like by myself, I think of like a hook first,
Mm.
or I'll think of like a progression, like a chord progression of like the chorus or the verse. Um, Once I get those two things, then like the melody comes through, then the lyrics will come. That's definitely how I operate there. When I do my co-writes, literally we just like I write with a few people pretty consistently, and we each like have like a little book of all these hooks and one-liners and just
Yeah.
funny themes and whatnot, and try to like find a story around that.
Do you do you find that it's personal, or do you try to keep it, just writing a story? Do you find that they overlap at times? Where do you find it lands?
They overlap. They
Yeah.
overlap for sure. Like one of the girls that I write with, she recently just got a publishing deal. So a lot of whenever we get together for our co-writes, like she's usually the one who will like pull like a story or pull, an experience from her life. And on my end, whenever I'm writing for somebody else, it's kind of like it's almost in a way like you're being a therapist. It's kind of like, okay, where do you want, like,
Yeah.
how did you feel in this moment? But also, like, where do you want this story to go? Like, do
Yeah.
you want this experience to have like a beginning, a middle, and an end? Do you want the song to be just about this particular event?
That's great.
I love like getting to pull that out of people and having a song come out of that.
You're like you're a navigator, which is nice.
I am.
This is truly the intersection of marketing and music, because this is why I love these conversations, because marketing is the same way. It's got to have you want a beginning, middle, end, or you want to stick on the one thing. But yeah, please continue, Lauren. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really like where I like to dive into. I know we're going to be talking about Lighthouse. That one was actually very different than anything I've ever written. I was hanging out with Slice, who is one of my dear friends. He's also my producer, but he also co-wrote Lighthouse with me. And I remember we were hanging out in his house, and there was a guy who, like, basically, like, I could never read his mind. Like, one minute he was showing feelings, the next minute he was like just being very hot and cold. And so Slice was just playing this little like the intro that you hear in Lighthouse on the piano, and he goes, just sing something, along the lines. And so I had like the melody, like da 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 da. I just kept singing that, and then pretty soon I was like sitting in a coffee shop, trying to hide inside my cup. A draft comes in and I lock eyes with you. And that was like what set the tone for the rest of the song. And we were talking about it, and I couldn't figure out like how to like put it into words, like, you know, what I was feeling about this guy. Cause I was like, here I am being completely obvious about my feelings for this guy. And I feel like everybody else in the world is like seeing me being blatantly obvious, and he has his head turned in a completely different direction. And he's missing like this fog light that is just blinding everybody except this guy. And I was like, well, floodlight doesn't exactly seem very like romantic. And so Slice goes, what if like it wasn't a floodlight? What if it was like a lighthouse?
I love it.
And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, you know, lighthouses, like they're put to warn ships where land is, and how close land is to where they are when they're out on the ocean. And I was like, that is brilliant. So we just dove into that, and we ended up writing something really, really beautiful. Obviously a lot of life has happened since then. I'm not even sure what that guy is up to now.
Yeah, who cares about that guy?
Well, he's clearly a loser.
Yeah, poor choices, guy.
If he even knows. It's so funny. Why is it that like the people that like treat us the worst end up getting the best songs written about them?
You know, there's an old
we could do a whole half hour just on that.
We could. There's an old thing that's like, why does pain make great art? I'll tell you what, we couldn't have a better introduction to the song.
You did a better job than I was going to do.
And we only have, I think, the amount of time left in the song, left in this interview. It went quick. Can we make a pivot? We're going to go ahead and play Lighthouse by Lauren Rose Thayer.
That is
correct.
Say
it right? Okay, let's have it a play here. Let's have a listen. Then we'll bring you back for a quick minute here. So don't leave us now. So this is Lighthouse by Lauren Rose Thayer.
Sitting in a coffee shop, trying to hide inside my cup. The draft comes in and I lock eyes with you. It felt like electricity when you took a seat right next to me. You brushed it off, but I could see right through. You're holding in your secrets under lock and key, but you can't seem to hide it all from me. If you're looking for a could be your lighthouse if you let your ship come in. I know what's been on your mind since someone crossed you from behind. You're walking through the shadows of your past. Maybe all you need's a friend to see you through, to understand. And someday you might find a love that lasts. I'm not trying to push you or pull you ashore. Just toss a line and I'll provide the oars. If you're looking for a lighthouse when ocean waves come crashing, the thunder rolls and fear starts setting in. There's a beam of light in the distance if you just look up ahead. 'Cause I could be your lighthouse if you let your ship come in. Oh, there's a beam of light in the distance if you just look up ahead. 'Cause I could be a lighthouse if you let your ship come in. Ooh, I could be your lighthouse if you let me in.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Applause.
Are you
applause,
listening, Taylor Swift? That's how
applause.
you do it. You need to send this song to Taylor right now so she can record it.
Hey, I'm with that. And if you could, never stop singing, what lovely vocals. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us, everybody here. Go follow Lauren Rose Thayer. That's Lauren, Lauren, Rose like Rose, Thayer, Thayer. Thank you, everybody, for listening here on 94.3 FM KWVH, Wimberley Valley Radio, with the Darren and Micah Show. Also, the Damn Music Show on YouTube. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us. I love that song. We look forward until we get to do it again.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was so sweet.
Our